This is the Doug Stewart Show coming to you live, very live on Wednesday. What's today's date? Thursday, September 25th, 2014. Thank you for joining your boy. I really do appreciate it. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. And you can also text me at 770-847-0536. Hope you're doing fantastic on this Throwback Thursday. Lot to get into. A couple of good sports stories out there, but some real interesting conversations having behind the scenes with my producers and my friends. And so we're going to get into some conversation today about your favorite sitcoms of all times. If you didn't see it last night, the premiere of the TV show Blackish premiered, and a lot of water cooler talk. So we're going to talk about it a little bit. Thank you so much for joining your boy on Spreaker.com, The Doug Stewart Show. Make sure you tell somebody. It's very important that you tell somebody about the show. Just tell one person, tell two people. I always say just tell two, not one. One is cool. And I don't want people to get the wrong idea and don't tell one person. No, damn it, tell two. Tell two. Okay, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. So thank you very much once again for joining your boys. You can also email me, Doug@thedugstewartshow.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. On both of those, you can check me out at The Doug Stewart Show, all one word. And you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook as well. So I got the chat conversation going on at the same time during the show today. So a lot of conversation, a lot of back and forth. The most interactive show online. The #1 sports talk show in America. I'm claiming it right now. That's what I'm doing, is I'm claiming it right now. So you got to help me. You got to tell people about it. All right? You got to tell people about it. In today's show, we're going to talk about extortion. Yeah, Jameis Winston and Jerry Jones. We'll get more into that a little bit later. Excuse me. As well as we're going to talk a little bit about Drew Brees calling out Roger Goodell once again. And Drew Brees has been very critical about the commissioner in the past, especially with what happened with the Bounty Gate situation from last year. So this is kind of following in the line of what Drew Brees does. And I absolutely respect his stances on these things. He was part of the NFL Players Association, so I absolutely love that. So we're going to talk about that. There's some stuff going on in Miami with the Dolphins. Baseball postseason is about to be underway. The Dodgers are in the news with a big win last night, a huge win. Clayton Kershaw did his thing once again. Actual signing in the NBA. Morris Claiborne in Dallas. So all of that stuff we're going to get to in today's show. The number is 404-382-0338. Now, here's the conversation. I got all of these tweets this morning and text this morning, and it's really trending. This TV show that premiered last night called Blackish, okay, with Anthony Anderson. By the way, who is Anthony Anderson's agent? This dude gets so many great jobs on TV, okay? The dude gets a job, I mean, great jobs, fantastic jobs. But anyway, so it's Anthony Anderson, as well as it's Tracy Ellis Ross, okay? Diana Ross's daughter. And the whole premise is, black family in the suburbs, and I guess he's doing well, this, that, and the other. And he's trying to make sure that they don't forget about their blackness. Now, my friends, and I'm going to say the majority of my friends that saw this show last night, they didn't like it. They didn't like it. As a matter of fact, one of my producers, Tree, says that, she could take it or leave it. I actually watched it this morning on Hulu in preparation to talk about it. I was out of the house last night, wasn't able to see it live, but saw it today, and I got to say that I actually liked it. Yeah, I did. I actually liked it. I think I kind of got it, some satire and, some interesting looks at life of this family in suburbia. I actually liked it. Now, it's probably not going to, fall on my list of all-time greatest sitcoms, and it's just the first episode. But I kind of liked the concept of it. I did. I kind of liked the concept of it. I think that it was It was well written. It's just one show. Once again, it's well written. I like the acting. Anthony Anderson's a great actor. I kind of joked a little bit earlier about how he's got a great agent. He always gets these great jobs. But he's a good actor. He's a very good actor. I like the direction of it. It's interesting. I can see some of the storylines of what happens, with that type of family in that setting. I kind of get it. What are your thoughts on Blackish? Or are you like most of the people that I've talked about and you didn't like it at all? Tree actually said that she feels like that they should have just, bring back and re-air episodes of Everybody Hates Chris, because it's kind of like the same concept, which Everybody Hates Chris is a fantastic show. I mean, a fantastic show. So I want to get your thoughts on that. And also on the Throwback Thursday, what we do is we talk about stuff from the past, some of the great stories and some of the great things that's happened in sports in the past, and some of the legends and the Hall of Famers. And we usually have a great guest on, a Hall of Fame type guest. And we also give you tidbits and that type of thing. How about this tidbit? Back in 2001, on this day in sports, in 2001, Michael Jordan announced that he would return to the NBA as a player for the Washington Wizards. Jordan became the president of basketball operations for the team on January 19th, 2000. So, yeah, seems like yesterday. I remember it like yesterday that Michael Jordan was coming back, and you kind of saw it coming. He actually was a owner of the team, a president of basketball operations, and you thought that you could inject some excitement into the franchise by the greatest player ever ever to come back and play for the team. So everybody saw that. Interesting. It was clearly Michael Jordan that had lost a couple of steps, not just a step. He had lost a couple of steps at that point, but he was still very good. He was probably one of the top tier players in the league still at that time. So it was a very interesting thing when Michael Jordan came back. So we'll talk about some of the mentionables from yesteryear in sports. We'll also take your phone calls. We'll read your tweets. Tweeting is probably the best and the easiest way. Follow me on Twitter at thedougstewartshow.com. A couple of news stories in the world of sports. Ryan Tannehill disagrees with the way that the Miami Dolphins coach Joe Philbin publicly declined to endorse the third-year quarterback leading into Sunday's game against the Oakland Raiders. Well, here's the thing. Ryan Tannehill hadn't been very good, and he's kind of sucked, and his numbers bear that out. We'll dig a little bit deeper into that story a little bit later in today's show. But when you don't play good, you're in the NFL, you get benched. And I guess you always say a guy that you took and you at one point thought he could be the face of your franchise going forward, you should show some confidence in him. But at some point, especially in today's NFL, that's very short in this day and time. Believe that. Also, in the world of baseball, the Pro Bowl NL Cy Young Award winner and MVP candidate grabbed a bottle of bubbly and began pouring in celebration of the Dodgers NL West title after a 9-win victory over the second-place San Francisco Giants Wednesday night. So the Dodgers get it done. They are going to the postseason, and I think the Dodgers are good for baseball. The Dodgers are good for sports. When the Dodgers are good, it's better. It's better. They're more interesting. You got Yasiel Puig. You got Clayton Kershaw, who I heard conversation yesterday, people comparing them to Sandy Koufax. So you got some great storylines. Magic Johnson's your owner. You're in L.A., which you need in the sports world, I believe, to have viable teams in those big cities. You need to have a viable team in New York. You need to have a viable team in L.A., and it just makes everything better. When the Lakers aren't good, it's not as fun because the Lakers have just as much haters as they do have fans. Same thing with the Yankees. When the Yankees aren't great, it's not the same. It's not the same. So good for the Dodgers. They make it to the postseason. Everything Magic Johnson touches turns to gold. Everything Magic Johnson touches turns to gold. They put a lot of money into this team, signed a lot of big-name players, and they are producing. So good for the Dodgers. Also, a quick basketball note. The Phoenix Suns and restricted free agent guard Eric Bledsoe came to terms Wednesday on a 5-year contract. Sources say it's worth $70 million. Good for that young brother. Good for him. $70 million. And this guy is one of these slept-on players. I think that basketball insiders understand his worth and feel like that he could be one of the top players in the league. And the Suns felt that. A lot of people were trying to put together a deal or sign him back, sign him to their team. But the Suns got it done. The Suns got it done, and this kid is a good player. A nice young player, solid point guard. And so he's going to pretty much be the centerpiece of that Suns team going forward. One other story, Morris Claiborne is backing up Orlando Scandrick and preparing to play plenty of snaps against New Orleans, just as he did several games last year. If you haven't heard, he basically walked out of Dallas practice because he was disappointed that he was told he wasn't going to start no more. And it's got to be embarrassing for a guy that was picked that high, top 10 pick, coming out of LSU, but not lived up to expectations. Just hasn't. And you know good and well that in the NFL, if you are a high pick, they're going to give you every single opportunity to keep your job because you're an investment. You're an investment. And the fact that they took you that high, they want you to produce. They don't pick you in the first round and, expect for you not to be a first rounder. They give you every opportunity to be the guy. And so very disappointing if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, the production you've got out of Morris Claiborne. Very disappointing. The guy has a skill set. I don't know if his career is going to be long-term in Dallas after this contract is up, but the guy has a skill talent. He definitely has a skill talent. Don't know if it's going to be in Dallas. I just don't know if it's going to be in Dallas because right now things are looking real sketchy. So want to get your thoughts if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan as well. How about if you're a fan of the Los Angeles Dodgers? We got a lot of LA people that live here in Atlanta, but I wouldn't mind if somebody from LA call the show and tell me what's the talk about the Dodgers. Because you know why? This show is worldwide. Yes, it's worldwide. It's worldwide. So we can talk to people from anywhere and anything about anything. All right, so that's what this show is going to be about. It's going to be about fun. It's going to be talking about sports. It's going to be talking about pop culture and entertainment. This is the fourth day of the show, so a lot of times I got to keep hammering home the facts of what we're going to do on the Doug Stewart Show. It's basically an extension of the Two Live Stew Show. It's just one stew, though. All right, it's one stew. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. Once again, 404-382-0338. And here's a Dougie Daily. Kind of like we used to do the everyday question on the Two Live Stews where we just asked something that really necessarily didn't have to do with sports. And talking about this Blackish show, one, I want to get your thoughts. If you saw the show last night, what do you think about it? Okay, thumbs up or thumbs down. And two, in the spirit of talking about sitcoms, in honor of Blackish premiering last night, what's your favorite sitcom of all time? Or give me a sitcom that you think should be in the conversation for the greatest sitcom of all time. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there right now. A show that still has a big audience and still syndicated on probably 3 or 4 different networks. And I'm talking about Sanford and Son. If you're 40 plus years old like myself, I'm about to be 45 in a couple of months. If you're my age and you still sit around and every time you turn the channel, you see Sanford and Son and Grady and Lamont and Rollo and Esther, and you sit there and you watch a complete episode even though you've seen it 35 times, that is what you would classify as a great sitcom. Yes, that's exactly what you would do. You would classify that as a great sitcom, and oh my gosh, the episodes and just the fun, and it's still, we talking probably around 40 years that show first came on and appeared. So I'm going to go ahead and put my vote in for Sanford and Son as one of I'm going to say the greatest sitcom of all time. All right? The greatest sitcom of all time, in my opinion, is Sanford and Son. So if you want to echo that point and give something else that you think should be in the conversation, that's what we're going to talk about today as well on this Throwback Thursday. The number is 404-382-0338. 404-382-0338. And also today on the show, we're going to talk to Mark Gray from 106.7 The Fan in Washington, D.C. Tonight, the Redskins take on the Giants on Monday Night Football, on Thursday Night Football. So we're going to talk to